Wow, you remember that. Yeah, I remember that. I fucking zoomed in like a maniac. Because that's just how it's normal for me, you know? I just fucking zoom in and out. Like, I used to also spaz, like, really hard the camera. But, you know, not anymore. Whatever. So here we are. We are back to Poltava after that really bad video. Jesus, man. It's like you think you can do comedy by adding some ridiculous German music over some bad gameplay, Kadok? Oh well. I don't know. I did like the end though. Because he's like, you know, oh, watch this, I'm so good, and then he lost. So that was kind of funny. Das Niger essen Böhnen und den Trenches. Seems like we have some Germans. Oh no. So anyway, Dialectic Maxim playing as the Germans, the Wehrmacht. Yeah. Then we have Oh Hi Mark playing as the OKW. Then on the enemy team we have Marshal Georgy Zhukov playing, of course, as the mighty Soviet Onion. And then we have Boss Rabbit playing as also the mighty Soviet Onion, but he's not, like, his name is not Marshal Georgy Zhukov. And since it's not Marshal Georgy Zhukov, he's not as Soviet. Although he did pick Armored Assault, which is kind of good. And it's like, whatever, it's Poltava, so shit will be weird. Pizdiet. I know what toxic is. That's not the most toxic shit ever. But he was relatively toxic. Like, come on. Not the most toxic I've ever seen, but definitely toxic it was. Oh, that is an unfortunate place for the machine gun to spawn. Anyway, he at least gets the change of directions. Can suppress those conscripts quite well. So it looks like the Germans are going to get this left side because they're suppressing the conscripts and because they have an MG in the building. And the guy went conscripts. He just cannot do anything. Marshal Georgy Zhukov just got flanked by a bunch of Sturm Pioneers. So, yeah, the Germans are going to get the right side too because one conscript away. Second conscript, gonna die most likely because Sturm Pioneers at medium to close range. Third conscript, gonna die because two Volksgrenadier squads focusing the fire should be the kill. Yep, second conscript squad is going home, and then the Sturm Pioneers can come around and probably get in close. Third Volksgrenadier squad joins the fray, relieving the first one that can now run away. So there we go. Very, very good play by the Germans on both flanks, really. Although in the west, they're going to get flanked around by a couple of conscripts. This is actually a correct play from Boss Rabbit because obviously he knows that there's an MG here, so he needs to go where the MG isn't. And, you know, the MG should probably be... Yeah, should probably be getting out of the building. Oh boy. Look at those Grenadier memes. Absolutely destroying the conscripts. Will he get the wipe? Oh, Jesus Christ, I just smashed the microphone.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
I just smashed the microphone. Anyway, pretty good little wipe on the conscripts, but it's like, it's a conscript squad. It was gonna get wiped anyway, you could say. And it looks like the Germans are also really... Well, they're funneling these conscripts in a very, 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 very bad place for the conscripts, you know? And, yeah, it's just like, it's not the best position to be in if you're a conscript guy. Finding out long range against these Volksgrenadiers. If the third squad would actually come in and, you know, use its rifles, it would be pretty good. Yeah, he's gonna shift around, get this squad in here, get this squad in this cover, and then get this squad in this cover. Yeah, look at that MG42. So the Germans still gonna survive on the left, and they're doing quite well. Flammenwerfer on the right, or Ognamiot, since it's a Russian one, tries to, you know, destroy these guys in cover, but it's not successful. And the Volksgrenadiers survive this battle. Push back the Allies, and now they need to rebuild their strength. We have a mechanized regiment headquarters coming in from Hohai Mark. So that might not be the best thing ever to project on the map, but, you know, what was that? That was a 120mm. 120mm mortar. That's gonna change the dynamics here. If the Germans play too defensively, like they've been doing, the 120mm will be just absolutely ridiculous. Nice mine. Oh, he was trying to plant a mine here. Anyway, it seems like the Soviets are trying to put more troops in the south, you know, going 2v1 down here. But the Germans are responding to this. They're also bringing in more troops. And what's really going to be, I think, the vital part about this southern fight are the mortars for the Allies. Because I think that, honestly, if they can take down the machine guns and then eventually start to whittle down the German infantry, it would be very, very strong, especially with two 120mm mortars. This is going to be ridiculous in the long run. So the Germans are going to need to start playing a lot more proactively. As you can see, they just can't suffer this ridiculous barrage of fire. And eventually, even though they're in winning battles with the infantry, they're going to be, in the end, losing more. So that's not good. However, they are breaking through to the mortars, which is, of course, quite good for them. But there's a lot of conscripts around here ready to protect the mortars, and that's exactly how it's supposed to be going. So despite the fact that the Germans are now able to get some very, very free capturing and territory on the left, on the right, slowly but surely, the Germans are going to start to feel the pain of the 120mm mortars. And then hopefully the Allies can get some good stuff done. But that mechanized regiment headquarters was a good pick, because now there's a Lux. The Lux is going to get countered by the AT gun over here, but, like, of course the AT gun isn't really going to kill it, unless the Lux does something really stupid, which it might be, but, you know, it's not necessarily guaranteed that it's going to do anything stupid. Fallschirmjägers dropping in from behind the mortars. That is very, very good. Mortars just getting out of there, but they're still going to get bundle grenaded. Oh, okay. Only 2 guys die. So mortars are going to survive with their veterancy. And right now, Lux is kind of derping around. There's actually a Guards Rifleman squad. That is dangerous because they have the DP machine guns. That means that they can use button vehicle. They're not shooting at the Lux, though, for some reason, which is weird. And there's a sniper on the field for the Germans, so... Wait. I saw a sniper. Right. He is here, kind of hidden. So that's pretty good. Counters the Guards Rifleman relatively okay, and sends them home. So the Allies are now in a shitty position because they're boxed in the base, and the Germans have some nasty units like sniper, like you know, Fallschirmjägers, like Lux, and the Allies are going to need to break through, and their army composition is more defensive than that of the Germans. So overall, it's just a whole lot of disadvantages for the Allies. They're going to need to once again rely on these 120mm mortars. They can protect them. If they can get some good RNG shots, you know, maybe not like that, but eventually it's going to stack up. And it might even nail the sniper, you know? The sniper is in a very precarious position, actually. The Lux is also in a very precarious position, but it's saved by the fact that there's just way too much German infantry for the anti-tank gun to move up too much. And as you can see, the mortars, you know, slowly but surely getting some damage. If they can get the constant spotting in, they're going to inflict casualties, and that's what they want. T-70 is coming in for Boss Rabbit, whereas Marshal Georgy Zhukov has gone no tech. Of course, he has picked guard mortar coordination tactics, which means that T-3485s, he can get those at tier 4, and he should probably start to work towards that. Some harassment going on the left side with combat engineers, but they just can't break through the machine guns. Eventually, if the allies want to shift around and, you know, start to go after other areas of the map, their mortars are going to allow them to destroy those machine guns really easily, though, which is, of course, quite good. Ruskies should build fuel caches. Well, they don't have places to build fuel caches in except for this point, because this other point is also relatively, like, unprotected. It's quite close to what the Germans can cap. So it's really this point, and if they can establish a decent defense at the fuel, this point. But yeah, if they do that, they should be starting to build fuel caches, because they're going to have only one fuel, and in addition, you know, not only that fuel has been kind of sporadic, whereas the other fuel has been constant for the Germans, so it's gotten more fuel to the Germans than the right fuel has gone to the Allies, but also the Germans have more strategic points, so they're just getting more fuel income overall. And anti-tank grenade? Ura? Guards button? Looks like he's not gonna have enough. But the MG is gonna die, which is of course quite good. Yeah, look at that, T-70. Oh, he's close! Anti-tank grenade! Anti-tank grenade! Just use anti-tank grenade on the guy, and you know, it's gonna chase him automatically. Don't chase him and then throw the anti-tank grenade. Whatever. He's gonna try to steal the machine gun. The crew is shocked, but it doesn't matter when they're retreating. So yeah, they will survive. I will survive. Anyway, and there's a big blob of infantry moving up. You know, the 120s. Are they in range? I'm not sure, but they are now, definitely. And they're also moving into the mines and the flamethrowers and the T-70 and the rifle fire. And there's a flare somehow above there. I guess the normal mortar fired there. Yet more T-70 rounds, yet more 120mm mortars. It's absolute carnage for the German infantry. It's also kind of carnage for the Allied infantry, but they have a closer run back to base and a easier, you know, run back. So yeah, it's pretty devastating for the Germans. They lose a lot of guys, but Dialectic Maxim over here has, through the forces of historical materialism, managed to acquire a big-ass chest of manpower, has managed to accumulate a big-ass chest of manpower, so he needs to really start to invest that back into units so he can start to accumulate yet more capital manpower. And oh, hi, Mark. Well, he's in shit. He's in deep shit. Like, he's just lost so much, and he doesn't have manpower to replace it. So he's in the position where he's got a lot of fuel that he can't use. So for like a minute or two, oh, hi, Mark is not going to be really all that useful to the German team, except for some Volksgrenadiers. that smoke. I love that smoke. Like, the first time I saw that, I was so confused because I hadn't read the patch notes. That was just, yeah, really fucking confused. I'm like, where does that come from? Also, that's an interesting blob. Good rifle grenade. That's exactly what I was talking about with the 120mm mortars. So finally showing their true face. Look at those. Look at those things. Like, these things are just like, fuck you, you know? And finally, it seems like the Allies are also kind of starting to adventurize onto the left side. And ooh, the machine gun moves up once again to cap. And it's gonna get destroyed. Really? Okay, he gets killed by the coaxial machine gun. So now the Allies have yet another German machine gun. You know, along with this MG34, they're gonna get an MG42, which is even better. So the Allies are building up a very, very, very scary lineup of support weapons, which it's going to be very difficult for the Germans to deal with if they don't start to spam out some light artillery of their own. They're going for a Panther. They're rushing a Panther, in fact. And I think that that's not the best idea ever, because honestly, rushing out that Panther, like, what is it going to do for the Germans, to be honest? Like, the Allies have a whole load of infantry and a T-70. Like, what do you need to counter with that Panther? What is that Panther going to do this entire time? Well, until a T-34-85 or something else is built, it's going to do nothing, you know? Like, until Marshal Georgy Zhukov decides to use some of his bloody fuel, it's going to do absolutely nothing. And so, it's like, why go that when you could have purchased a Broom Bear and destroyed all the infantry, you know, done a lot of damage to all the support weapons, all that. Would have been a lot more useful, I think. Anyway, finally the Allies are really starting to feel comfortable in pushing into the center. Big lag. Damaged engine goes down on the Lukes and probably needs to run away to the automatrons, but the Allied infantry is just relentless. They're trying to charge in, and honestly, if these guards had put themselves in the building, they would have killed the Lukes. There goes the conscript squad to the Grenadiers. But yeah, the Panther also is in a pretty bad neighborhood because of the fact that there's guards, you know? There's guards, there's AT guns. It's just a whole lot of things that can do quite well against the Panther. Honestly, if I were Marshal Georgy Zhukov, I'd get to tier 4 and I'd get to Katyusha, because it would be very, very useful against the blobs of infantry. And then I would try to get myself some T-34-85s, so that he can have a mobility vehicle that can deal with almost anything that the Germans are bringing in, except for literally the Panther. But, you know, 2 T-34-85s versus 1 Panther is pretty good for the 2 T-34-85s, so, yeah. Well, MG-34 gonna come in handy. Is it? I think.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
Aw. I was hoping for a really nasty 120mm mortar shell to, you know, land straight in the middle of all those guys. Didn't happen. And there goes the Lukes. Aw, lucky. 2 Stukas. Well, I can't really disagree all that much. As much as it's kind of a derpy move to go 2 Stukas, you know? On a match like this, it's like, you know? You need front line, you need units to cap, old points, all of that. But 2 Stukas, it can do some damage. It can do some nasty damage, especially to like clumped up mortars. And yeah, like he thought that he was trying to hit the mortars, and that was actually a very good guess, educated guess. But he wasn't hitting the mortars, he was hitting the guards. So he just fucking panic retreated the mortars, you know? That's what he thought. Mamkini naciki. No da, prekletye naciki. Zhukov can easily build some T-34-85s. Why he's not building them? I have no fucking idea. I have no fucking idea. Like, I have no idea what these guys are doing. By the way, I saw that a bunch of people came in, so hey, hello to everyone that's new. And people are singing like Erica and German music in the chat. Well, technically it's not singing if you're doing it by text, so I guess it's posting the lyrics of a song. I am sorry, I did not have the grammatically and lexically correct term there. Whatever, who cares? Is that a Valiant Assault? Yes, it is a Valiant Assault, giving them more suppression resistance, allowing them to move in and, you know, being around, going around the arc of fire of the Maxim. However, is it enough? Because there is a T-70 just doing so much damage to them. Guards Rifleman coming in with the RGD-34 grenade. It almost kills the entire blob, but it, for some reason, didn't do that much damage, as much as it should have. Panzerfaust coming in on the T-70. That's relatively dangerous for the T-70 because it's allowing the Panzer II to come in and get some rear armor hits, but The PTRSs from the Guards Riflemen are gonna guard its retreat. Haha, get it? Because it's the Guards. Anyway, Georgy Zhukov, the Marshal of the Soviet Union, has managed to get his mechanized armor company 20 minutes into the game, and now he's getting a T-34-85, while a Panther decides to move into the Allied base, which is a very bad decision, because this might result in the death of the Panther. You know, damaged engine relatively close to the base. If you can get these AT guns, like, moving in here, oh, he's gonna smoke. Good usage of the smoke to help out his ally. And it looks like also the T-34-85 went on the other side, which is weird. I was expecting the T-34-85 to come in against the Panther and try to, you know, finish him off. But I guess he decided to deal with these cloaked Fallschirmjägers, which is a good idea. They're expensive. And Hoheimark is very low on those resources. Although, he just cancelled something. Was he getting a third Stuka? I think he was getting a third Stuka. He was being a meme, but he's not really gonna do that anymore. Dialectic Maxim has some good infantry. Even getting out some stormtroopers with STGs, so that's gonna be very, very, very nasty anti-infantry. What he needs is machine guns. And packs. Oh, he does not have tier 2. Oh, that is a mistake, my friend. Because you need packs. Packs are strong. Especially when the enemy starts to get out those T-34-85s and you have a Panther. Pack in Panther is very, very, very difficult to deal with for the T-34-85s. Whereas just the Panther, it's like, you know, eh. Ooh, the sniper, though, is very... Yes, Tavarish! Oh, I wish that I could have just, like... Man, you just got bamboozled. That sniper just got plastered by a T-34 85mm HE round. Coming straight from the munitions factory of Tula. Oh! Oh! Is the Panther gonna die? Gets behind there and stops him, but he pops Panzer Tactician, which is of course annoying as hell. That forces him to show the rear armor, and also the little aircraft run misses because he thought he was gonna, you know, go back. But because the T-34-85 blocked him, he decided not to do that, and that is the end of the Panther. So once again, sometimes those Panthers are just useless, and this one was one such occasion. So obviously, Dialectic Maxim is waiting, he's elite troop, so he's waiting for the Tiger Ace. It's got fuel cost. It's got fuel cost now. I guess that was the, yeah, that was the newest patch, I guess. Anyway, in the meantime, we have a bit of a Volksgrenadier push coming in from the right side, which is, I guess, pretty okay, but hello, I am a T-34-85 with a damaged engine. Please Panzerfaust me while I kill... Focus fire on this guy. Focus fire on this guy. Kill him, kill him, kill him. That fort, yes, destroyed. And I'm not sure what this Lux is trying to do. So yeah, this is kind of the problem with, you know, Panther play. Sometimes it's just useless for a long, long time, and then it gets instantly murdered. Which is exactly what happened, and oh, both of these Soviets are going heavy on the T-34-85s, though. Which, in my opinion, is a bad move, because they have a lot of T-34-85s, it's natural. Of course, they have 2 T-34-85 doctrines, that's good. But going, like, straight off the bat into a lot of T-34-85s, I think that that's not the best idea ever. Although, it is kind of justified by these Stuka purchases. You know, you can hunt down the Stukas a lot better in 2 T-34-85s than 1. Still, though, I'd prefer to have one player kind of focus on more defensive units, and then one player focus on the more offensive units. So, obviously, Marshal Georgy Zhukov, who can only build T-34-85s, and can't off-map call in S2 heavy tanks. It's Georgy Zhukov that should get the T-34-85s. Then his buddy should get the S2 and support that with Su-85s. If they had been doing a little bit more communication, I think that they would have found that that's the better, you know, more efficient option. That's a nice smoke run. prevents the T-34s from firing. In the meantime, though, we have the 120s just, yeah, doing their thing on the mechanized. So the mechanized is gonna die eventually. But Schwerpanzer headquarters is going up, and there's also a battle group headquarters up for the Germans. So I'm thinking that Hohai Mark is starting to head into the KT late game. Oh, that Stuka was nasty, which is exactly what they wanted. But it's not enough. I mean, the Germans don't have a vehicle to push in. Because again, you know, 200 fuel spent on Stukas, and then your 1 Panther dies. That means that you don't have a vehicle to push back that T-34-85, and that means your Volksgrenadiers get decimated really, really easily. Lots of mortar shells falling down. I feel like if these mortars ever get killed, it's going to be a very, very good victory for the Germans. Because they're just causing so much pain. Like, they're not really getting that many kills, but they're doing their part, because it's like the Germans can't really have a unit really stand still for too long, just for the fear of those guys. So yeah, it's really kind of putting the Germans off balance, really. Looks like the MG is going to be recruited, and then the Grenadier throws up stun grenade, which does absolutely no damage. So VP situation is obviously in favor of the Germans because they had the 2 VPs and sometimes even 3 for the majority of the game. But the Allies are coming back, you know. They've got the halfway point kind of reached, the high watermark of their game so far. But these 2 German troops getting behind their machine guns is not very good. And that's what the T-34-85 is going to do. Okay. Yeah, you run away. You run away, you Nazi dog. Drive out the invaders.
Units are ready to deploy.
Anyway, gonna check up on the chat a second. Oh god, people are talking about Kerak. What do you mean helping hand 0.1 XD? I'm not helping hands. By the way, hi to everyone that joined. Momo. I don't have my place of birth as my YouTube name. Twoja grybiana mać. No da. Fucking Kerak, man. Kerak is a weird dude. You just take everything so seriously, man. There goes something. Luke's, finally. So the two T-34-85s, so difficult to say always, are just destroying the mechanized. Big Panzerwerfer barrage is going to prevent the Allied infantry from taking the center, but the two T-34s, there is no counter to them right now on the right side except for our Kenwerfer, but it's like, you know, what's their Kenwerfer going to do when the T-34s just get out? So they just have complete initiative and control of the field, and yeah, it's not looking that good for the Nazis right about now. And yes, they called the Germans Nazis. Be mad. It's like, dude, it's World War II. It's a World War II game where, like, people cost a yellow fist. It's like, yes, so historically accurate. And where, like, half-tracks that project infrared images give, you know, the German troops fucking infrared eyesight vision. They can see through fucking walls and shit. It's like, yes, it's the most realistic game ever. I'm definitely 100% serious when I cast games. I don't know, I just feel that's really weird that some people get pissed because I call the Germans Nazis. And it's like, then I do the retarded Soviet voice when I'm talking about the Soviets. No one gets pissed at that, you know? I do the America fuck yeah stuff when I'm talking about America. No one cares about that. I almost never see Brits played, so I don't really have a chance to shit talk the Brits, but... And also I can't really do Brit accents in any way, so no, I'm not gonna do that. But I'm sure no one would be pissed. Not even Brits. And those people are weird. Wow, that was a great Panzer barrage, but it was almost much better. Still though, that was good. And looks like a Tiger Ace is on the field. Tiger Ace plus Panther, so now Dialectic Maxim is gonna be really putting in the overdrive and trying to make his big push, I feel like. With the KT from Hohai Mark that I thought was coming, which has now come. Now the Germans are in a position where, yes, there's a lot of T-34-85s on the field, and yes, there's a lot of Soviet infantry, and yes, the Soviets are starting to come back. They're inflicting a lot of casualties on the German infantry. They have a relatively well-balanced and big-ass force, but the Germans have really big tanks. So if the Allies can't really... Man, look at all these big cats. See, if the Allies cannot find a way to counter all the big cats, and countering all the big cats is going to require letting them run straight into an anti-tank gun ambush, and then coming in behind them with T-34-85s, along with infantry support, and hope that the Germans don't have enough infantry support to, you know, make the conscripts go away. Come in with button vehicles and, you know, anti-tank grenades, all of that. So it's, you know, a relatively complicated process that the Allies are going to have to put together to really counter these German heavy tanks well. If they can't do that, then the big cats are just slowly but surely gonna really hurt the Allied units, because they're gonna feed themselves off of the Allied tanks to get veterancy, because it's really easy for the German tanks to get veterancy on, you know, cheap ass, like not well armored. Oh, thanks to whoever joined. Hold on. Kadok has followed. Oh, well, then no. Then no. It's fine. Thanks, Kadok, for following me on Twitch. Why weren't you doing that already? I guess because I never streamed on Twitch before now. So, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Anyway, yeah, well, sure, that was a bad thing. Anyway, see, that's the thing. They're gonna feed themselves off of really easy to damage Allied armor and get veterancy. Then they're going to bleed the hell out of the Allied infantry with their ridiculous HE guns, and I'm talking about not the Panther here. And slowly but surely, they're gonna attrition the Allies out. Considering that the Germans have more VPs than the Allies, 400 to 200, they can do this kind of play relatively easily, you know? And also thanks to Aniki, who has just joined as well, followed me. So, you know, it's like, it's a combination of bad things, you know? Oh, this guy is still alive. This cute ass T-70. Man, vet-free T-70s are dangerous. I think that's the end of that vet-4 squad. Oh, wow, that's really lucky. That is incredibly lucky that he did not hit the mine. And also, the T-70 now needs to run away because there's a Panther. There's actually a kind of funny, like, I don't know, little tidbit. There was a T-70, like, that destroyed 2 Panthers or something in an ambush somewhere on the Eastern Front. Read about it, like, a year ago. Although, I mean, that site that I read it on might have been a bit of a Russian bias site, so I don't know, who knows. Who knows if it's true? But it's actually possible, because the Panther's side armor is shit. So, you know. And yeah, look at this. I'm a 120mm mortar. For some reason, for some fucking reason, I'm the only mortar in the game that, you know, if there's only one guy, I survive. This is honestly one of just the weirdest things. I don't understand why the 120mm mortar survives with one guy. It's the only support weapon to ever do that in the history of Company of Heroes, you know? It's like pretty weird. What is this T-34 doing? It doesn't have friends! When you do something like this, you need to have friends coming in from the other side. It's a hammer and anvil. Anyway, he's doing a lot of damage, but it's like... Now he's like, I'm gonna kill the Panzerwerfer. Look, I killed the Panzerwerfer, but now I die? So you traded a 130 fuel, 380 manpower T-34, 85, versus 360 manpower. Sure, that costs more, but 85 fuel, so you know, it's literally 45 less fuel. Panzerwerfer rocket launcher. Although, to be fair, it's very important to take out those Panzerwerfers, especially because Dialectic Maxim... Actually, no, that's a good trade, because Dialectic Maxim has the Tiger Ace on the field. So if he loses that Panzerwerfer, it's not like he can replace it, because his fuel income is shit as hell. So, you know, he's... yeah, that's pretty good. Also, the Tiger Ace is killing himself, moving into two 85mm guns, one of them an Su-85, so, you know, more rate of fire than the other guy. And also, the infantry is dying. There's a nice marked vehicle. Actually, they stacked two marked vehicles. So he dies, and now the Panther is in big trouble because the T-34... He phased through. Yeah, well, I guess he's not. I was gonna say that he's in big trouble because, you know, the T-34-85 has blocked his escape path, and so he's gonna... Are you for fucking real? That's more than a screen away. That was a snipe and a half. Fucking well done, 16-year-old SS Hitler Jugend tank crew. You're a good marksman. I'm sure Hitler will be pleased. So the two Stukas, they're not doing too much, but like every once in a while they kill some stuff, which is, I guess, okay. They've got 38 kills between them, 39 now. And it's not the most, but it's like a decent amount. It's like, you know, he's doing his part. Big mortars, big machine guns. Yeah, so the Allies are coming back onto the field, and despite their definite VP inferiority, the last engagements have been going very well for them. And they've destroyed the Tiger Ace, so that's never going to come back. They've destroyed, you know, quite a few of the Tiger Ace support units. So Dialectic Maxim right now is in a real bad situation. Oheimark still has his KT, but now it's alone, along with a Panther. So, you know, it's going to be easier for the Allies to kind of deal with him. And now, wow. The stolen MGs, man, the Axis need to be a lot more careful about how they use their support weapons. Because if we take a look, like, we have 2 stolen MGs here, and how many do we have on this side? We have a Maxim and a Maxim. Oh, never mind. Okay. Yeah, no stolen AT guns, no stolen mortars, so I guess it's only the machine gun. You know, Georgi Zhukov's machine gun. Still, though, that losing 2 MGs on a 2v2, it's, yeah, it sets you back. It sets you back quite a bit, especially once you approach the late game and you've lost a lot of veteran infantry. So you can't really plaster machine guns as easily as normal, because, like, there's a kind of strange curve to how useful certain things are in Company of Heroes 2, because at one point, you're gonna reach late game and you're gonna have like a full army and stuff, and at that point, you know, a lot of units really start to lose value because you can just fucking demolish them and their services are not required anymore, like machine guns, you know. It's like, yeah, you can suppress some infantry, but it's like when there's a bunch of artillery coming down, it's like, you know, whatever. Or where there's a big blob of vet-free infantry that can kill the entire machine gun crew before it sets up, not good. But once people start to really lose a lot of units, you know, they come back into value really heavily, because at that point, once you lose your veterancy, you lose your, you know, some of your artillery, you lose like, you know, some of your better infantry, you lose some of the numbers of your infantry, so you can't flank as easily. Yeah, like, machine guns become really much more important again, and also VPs become more important as the game goes on, obviously. So yeah, having something that can defend VPs is quite important. Anyway, it's also why this T-70 wasn't that important like 5 or 10 minutes ago, but now it's really fucking important because... Hope it doesn't die. Aww. Because it could have, for example, driven to the east and defended the VP here from these Fallschirmjägers. And then if the Fallschirmjägers had capped the VP, it could have recapped it, you know? Okay, so this engagement's going pretty well for the Germans. They've destroyed the T-70, they've destroyed the T-34-85 here, and they've pushed back a couple of machine guns. So while the Allies were coming in and capping a lot of points, the Germans are now kind of trying to get back into their groove. Thank you for the follow, my friend. Who are you? Gunther Kaufmann. Thank you. And yeah, so that's basically it. Nuda, товарищ. Не нужно. Why are you two, like, really salty? I don't know. I know you want to play. Like, I know you want to play. But once this is finished, we can have a game. You know? Блять. Oh, wow. Big smoke. Of course he wanted to recon. But yeah, I'm gonna need a new brain after watching this replay. Because my own brain is gonna be consumed. Oh no, that's gonna be a bundle grenade. Oh no, that was a miss. Okay, sure. Oh look, a bunch of Wild 2 Sturmovik attacks. Wow, that's some pretty good damage. And there's a Schwerpanzer quarters here, but the Allies have found it, so now they can kill it. But this is relatively dangerous because there's the Panther. So the Panther could be trying to come in and flank around the Su-85 using some of this, you know, tree stuff. And wow, interesting. They Stuka their own tank. Whatever. There's a very nice German push up the center that destroyed these AT guns and took the center VP. On the right side, there's a bit of a fight, but the KT is going to decide that. And yeah, locally, only on the left, the Allies have a superior position. They could be coming in and destroying the Schwerpanzer relatively easily, I feel like. However, now the KT might be in trouble because the T-34-85 is getting in behind the KT, but yeah, here comes a lot of Panzerfausts, so no, it's gonna try to run away. Successfully, I might add. Man, the 120mm are still alive. 16 kills, 11 kills.
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies. We have a new T-34 standing by.
What are you gonna do with your Stukas, man? Oh god. You killed the machine gun. Didn't even kill it. He kind of like just made it run away. There's a Katyusha on the field for Boss Rabbit. That's not the worst idea. Can help destroy machine guns, and actually it can also counter battery the Stukas. It's already gotten 6 kills, so it probably already fired on the right. And this machine gun's gonna die. Ha ha. And yeah, so the Soviets retake the right side. The Soviets are also basically poised to try to make a big assault over the center left. And I feel like that assault could result in the destruction of the Schwerpanzer quarters and the recapture of the center VP. If they use the rocket barrage well on the, you know, little stolen Maxim here. Because otherwise that can, you know, defend the VP. And then it depends. It depends on the German response to these Allied actions. Although the Germans seem to be, well, trying to come in and Oh, he just barely did not build a mine and did not get his guys destroyed. Oh, looks like the King Tiger got a marked vehicle on it, but that's just to scare it, I guess, because, you know, he can't really move in against so many Panthers. The Panther hits a mine. There was a mine there. I did not see it. And this is bad for him, because now he can come in and destroy the Panther. Yes. The might of the Soviet Onion. We also have the flanking push coming in from Boss Rabbit, but he's not being decisive. He's not moving in. If he were to move in right now and get behind the KT, he'd be able to destroy all of these Nazi tanks. We have a nice Katyusha barrage though, so he's able to get a lot of damage done to these guys. Finally, here comes the rear, you know, push from the Soviets, but it's too late because there's no frontal push. So, you know, the Tiger can just turn around and fire on the T-34s. Where is the Su-85? It's running away from some infantry, which is kind of derpy. Honestly, if you go in, you go all in at this point if you're the Soviets. Because doing this kind of half-ass push doesn't do you any good. Anyway, so it was overall still a win for the Soviets because they were able to... Oh god, this KT is in such a bad position. Because they were still able to trade a T-34-85 for a Panther, but the T-34-85 that they did trade for the Panther was really wasted. Like, they could have not done that. And they could have, like, it was really kind of a didn't seize the day kind of thing. It was a matter of missed opportunities. They could have killed the KT right now, and probably even the other Panther, you know? And they probably could have killed the Schwer Panzer Headquarters too, if they had been a little bit quicker on the push on the left. Anyway, this still means that, you know, there's a lot of... Okay, so he went for another T-34 to replace the one he lost. He's still got the kind of trump card of the IS-2 that he hasn't played yet. But we need to remember that that thing is there. You know, if he loses a lot of stuff and then waits a little bit, he can get the IS-2, and that could be a game changer because the Axis are probably just not expecting it. Like, I don't think they're really thinking right now, huh, maybe it's not 2 armored assaults, maybe it's 1 armored assault and 1 no, sorry, not 2 armored assaults. Maybe it's not 2 guard mortar coordination tactics, it's 1 guard mortar coordination tactics and 1 armored assault. Sure, they have other things to think about, you know, right now. They're probably not really thinking about this stuff. So it could really surprise the heck out of them. The Axis are not prepared to deal with a heavy tank on the Allied side. They've only got 1 AT gun. So honestly, like, if you lose the T-34-85s and another push, Boss Rabbit, you should probably go ahead and get yourself an IS-2, because, you know, IS-2 is pretty strong by himself, and also in the situation, I feel like it would be very helpful, very useful, very strong. Oh no. Aw. Well. Okay. Don't die. You're the only engineer squad. Okay. He decided that seeing if there was a mine was more important than killing the only engineer squad. Of course, he doesn't know it's the only engineer squad, but you know. Okay, so left side, we still have this. He's not using self-repair, which is kind of retarded. You know, it's like you have 250 munitions. Just use self-repair. You don't need to wait for your 1 engineer squad to come back. Yeah, maybe the Allies, the only thing they need is, like, more engineers. Because they need to repair their tanks some way. Yeah, this AT Gun 9 is very effective. We have a triple cap, then, on the Germans. They've got 3 minutes to cap 1 point. Or 1 VP point. Otherwise, they lose. And they don't want to lose now, do they? That was some next level homosexuality. Interesting. Big smoke, gonna cover the push. That was a very good smoke because it's gonna make sure the AT gun can't do too much. Where's the MG? It's back at base. Micro's starting to slip on all these guys. Like, the MG being back at base is pretty bad because it allows the Volksgrenadiers to put pressure on the AT guns. And so if the AT guns are pressured and they die, then the KT can come around, really heavily destroy that. T-34-85 is having to waste its precious time instead of getting around the Königstiger and trying to kill him. That was an interesting fun fire. Instead of, you know, coming around and shooting at the Königstiger, he had to waste his time shooting at the infantry. However, even though one of the AT guns is dead, the other one is firing on the KT, and the KT is getting Mark vehicled. So yeah, in the center we have some Iltru attacks trying to stop the German flood, and it's being very successful at that. So one Grenadier squad goes down. That was a veteran Grenadier squad. On the left, the Germans are recapturing that with the MG and then getting their Grenadiers around this Maxim. So that's pretty good. But the Königstiger is in big, big trouble. He's very low on HP, and the Allies still have most of the VP. And 2 T-34-85s versus 1 Panther. I'm not seeing it for the Panther, but yeah, there comes the pack. Finally a pack. Packs are good. Buy packs. You know? Ooh, even like a lot of our Cannon Rippers.
The enemy is encroaching on our territory. Taking fire. T-34 reporting.
Big MG34 gets a wipe. Wow. Yeah, micro's starting to slip for everyone, really. Another Stuka. Man, this guy really likes to use the Stukas like in the same place at the same time. Which is, in my opinion, like, it's kind of okay to do if you're gonna be thinking about it. Like, you know, I'm gonna do like a very autistic calculation. Like, I'm gonna be doing this, you know, and then he's gonna run to the right. And if he runs to the right, I have a barrage to the right or something, you know? Oh, it looks like he wants Obersoldaten now. Might not be the best idea ever. There's a lot of things that can kill Obersoldaten really quickly. Like, a lot of T-34-85s. Like, what died? There were more vehicles here, and he wasn't at 80 pop cap. He was at higher pop cap. I don't know, whatever. He's rushing in with the T-34 vet free in the front, which is just absolutely not the best idea. And now he's trying to kill the Panther. Very close to being able to do that, actually. Aw, missed. Or didn't penetrate. Can he get the finishing blow? Oh, so close. He should have rammed. The ram with the double damage from this would have been so devastating. And here comes the pack from the rear, so yeah. T-34-85 dead. Panther still alive. It's got vet free. Now, this means that Marshal Georgy Zhukov has a lot more things to think about. A lot more, you know, trouble on his shoulders that he has to bear. Because then the Panther is going to probably come around and try to kill his tanks. But on the left side, to be honest, it should not matter that that fight did not go well for the Allies. Because, honestly, for the infantry, like, Boss Rabbit is just so heavily superior to the Dialectic Maxim. You can just really easily come in and cap the VP, even without having the armor superiority. And looks like the KT might be a little bit too far ahead. And where's the Rakenwerfer screen? It's back at base, so the T-34-85s are able to come in and do some bullying on the KT, but they decide that maybe it's not the best idea, and in fact, it wasn't the best idea. So yeah, very wise decision to pull back, I think, for Georgy Zhukov, and now he is, trying to survive, I guess. Yeah, 120mm mortars still alive, doing their own thing. I think slowly but surely, the Allies are just getting the advantage, and I don't think they're gonna let it go now. Once again, the superiority of just a very strong infantry corps, a very strong corps of support weapons, shows itself. Because if there hadn't been those mortars and those machine guns, like, the Soviets would be, you know, they would still be back at their base, essentially. And I still think a Brumbear from Dialectic Maxim would have been very, very strong. You know?
New anti-tank gun has arrived.
Aw. Yet again, gets wiped.
Opponents are seizing a sector.
So trying to push onto the right. Yeah, that's gonna be successful. Needs to call in the tanks to stop that. In the center, there was a bit of a German attempt, but it didn't work. And now we have the capture of the left side by the conscripts. So yes, exactly as I thought. And instead of building that bloody S2, he went with more T-34-85s. I mean, honestly, I think that the S2 would have been better. But it doesn't matter at this point. I think he's going to win anyway. And, ooh, vehicle button plus target vehicle. Wow. That bounced like 6 shells in a row. Pretty ridiculous. But he's backed into a corner, and yeah, now he's dead. Because, you know, finally they're penetrating, and with that extra damage from the Mark vehicle, since he's slow from the vehicle button and, you know, taking fire, he dies. And that's the end. Well played to the Allies. Well played to the Germans. You're both fat German virgins with no friends. Oh my gosh, how did he know? Will you be my friend? I don't know. I don't know anymore. So, oh hi Mark, you know, kind of being a bit of a Hitler at the end. But yeah. What a game. That was pretty absurd.